Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the current weather events that are going on, the current Arctic blast that we're just sitting underneath here in the eastern United States, the upcoming warm-up that is going to follow up this pattern, and fairly decent storms that are going to make their way through over and over and over again. They're just not going to be major or extreme by any means. They're going to be quite minor, actually. There will just be multiple of those in the upcoming pattern. Alright, now before I get into this video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, since we're in a quieter pattern and we're expecting minor storms, when do you think our next major storm will be? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video. And like I said, not going to be a very extreme pattern, but it will be a fairly active one, I guess, just with some minor activity, I guess. We do have this storm up here in the northwest currently. We have a bit of a storm up here in the upper Midwest. Well, I guess it stretches a bit further than that. It kind of for this entire region up here in the northwest. And then down here for portions of the Rockies. We do actually expect some severe weather here later today. And we do have some snowfall showers up here in the northeast. So there's a few things to talk about, but nothing major going on right now. Let's move into the northwest. We always do this. We can see a lot of raininess moving onshore here. And this is almost always happening. I would say at least 3/4 of the days we've taken a look at the current radar, it's been like this for the most part. So, you know, I think everybody kind of knows it's that way, but it is just surprising when you really take a deep dive into it and you don't live there and you see just how crazy the radar is. I mean, all the time, literally. We do have some snowfall actually happening here for the Cascades in this region. And then also the northern Rockies here in this region, we're also seeing some of that activity ongoing. But nothing too unusual like I mentioned before. Now for this region, we're kind of seeing a swinging area of showers that are fairly minor. We do have rainfall mostly for this region up here, and then mostly snowfall here for the Rockies here in Colorado and portions of New Mexico. Now, as we take a look here, there is a bit of a clipper system going on, and this has been fairly common this winter. Snowfall, kind of minor snowfall, fairly heavy, just moving very, very quickly, probably dropping 2 to 4 inches of snowfall maximum, and it looks like the heaviest has been just to the north of Minneapolis, I would say. We've seen some of those blues popping up. I'll zoom in and show you what I'm talking about here. So for areas like St. Cloud, Andover, Cambridge here, you've been seeing that heavier snowfall. You see those blues popping up? That's indicating 30 dBz plus, which is basically equivalent to what yellow is typically on rain, which is very heavy for snowfall. Usually you don't get into the oranges or reds in the wintertime, obviously, with rain when it's very cold. That's just because, you know, there's not a lot of instability and things of that nature, and not as much moisture in that colder air. So when you see these yellows popping up in the rain or the equally equivalent blues popping up in the snow, that is large amounts of precipitation for freezing temperatures and probably very heavy snowfall falling to the ground. If you are in this region, you can let us know what's happening if you're underneath some of these heavier bands. We would be very curious to hear about it. I'm sure all of us, me and the viewers included. Now we do have an area of thunderstorms and showers popping up this way. This is likely the beginning of that, you know, Gulf warmer air that's going to head up into our severe weather region, and we have to watch for that for sure because that's going to be quite impactful. Also Florida, we are seeing some showers and thunderstorms move on to the eastern shore here of Florida, and these likely are, you know, minimal impacts, but it is happening, so it's worth noting. And then I guess the only thing we have to talk about other than that is some snow showers, very, very light snow showers taking place here for upstate New York, portions of Vermont, portions of New Hampshire, and maybe even a bit of Maine there. But very light. It might not even be making it to the ground, but it also might. If it is making it to the ground, it's most likely happening in these lightest colors here. You see these whites popping up here. That's probably the most heavy snowfall we're seeing in this region. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on. And we're going to move on to the modeled guidance and eventually the Storm Prediction Center, and we're going to talk about the upcoming things happening in this pattern. Alright, now here we are taking a look at our simulated radar here on the European model. We're just going to break this down. Like I said, there is a few multiple, you know, minor storms that take place here. We have 2 ongoing already by Tuesday. It's going to be tomorrow from the time I'm making this video, but they're not going to be major by any means. Low pressure will not be super low or anything. Now, this one does try to kind of turn up the coast. This will not become a snowstorm because the cold air kind of retreats. Again, we talked about that Arctic blast is going to be very brief, and it basically is already almost over. Mostly happening yesterday into today, and now warm air is going to be shoving its way north just like this, and the storm is going to be following suit. So this might move up the coast, but it will not be a snowstorm, as you can see. It mostly just heads up the coast, brings some rainfall, and moves out. Now that storm that was impacting the northwest does move across like this, and then eventually makes its way up into the northeastern United States, so it moves right across, as you can see. And that one does potentially become a snowstorm here, so we're going to have to watch for that around this weekend. That's going to be March 19th, Saturday, kind of mid-morning time frame here. And that one does become a bit of a stronger low-pressure system, about a 1005 around here as like a Miller B nor'easter, which would be more on the minor side, but a little bit stronger than what we've been seeing with a couple of these on the model guidance. So 1, 2, then we get 3. This one moves through like this. This one actually does become a bit of a major storm. This is a 998 millibar low pressure center, but it's all the way by Tuesday, March 22nd. So it's more than a week out right now. So that's why I'm considering the upcoming pattern probably about the next week, and we're not going to see a major storm during that time frame. But directly after, around Monday, Tuesday, we do get this storm that looks very major, and actually this could feature quite a bit of terrible severe weather underneath right there. Also snowfall behind lingering, but we're getting really close to spring, and you can see it struggling to be a full-blown snowstorm. That is definitely a sign of this time of year. Let's see the Cape. Convective available potential energy. Yeah, we're getting quite a bit of that along that southern low pressure system all the way up into the eastern United States. So we could be looking at another severe weather event by the time we're reaching this late in the pattern for these regions. I mean, that looks really potent actually. Actually more like this. Somewhere in this area, there is lots of potential as we approach the end of this week, or actually after this week into early next week. So Monday here, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into a little bit of Thursday probably on the tail end of this. There is a lot of potential for severe weather. And then it seems like we get in a much more interesting pattern with much more major features happening there. So we get in a much more full-blown pattern towards the very tail end of March, I would say. Now let's get into the Storm Prediction Center. Here's the Day 1 categorical outlook. We have a general thunderstorm risk here in the lighter green. Darker green is going to be a marginal risk. Again, isolated severe weather is possible in there. And then our slight risk here is this yellow region, and that is where we expect scattered severe weather to be possible, but not necessarily likely. Now let's look at those individual outlooks here. Day 1 wind outlook, we have a 5% chance there within the green of damaging wind, and then we have a 15% chance there within the yellow, within 25 miles of a given location, by the way, for all of these percentages. Now, hail is a little bit more interesting. We have the 5% chance, again, 15% chance, again, but we have this hatched region, the significant hatched region, which is indicating there is a good chance of very large hail, 2-inch diameter or more hail taking place there within that black hatched region. So we're going to have to be watching very, very closely for that. Now, tornadoes, we do have a 2% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location there within the green, and then a 5% chance there within the browns of tornadoes. Now, Day 2 categorical outlook, we have the lighter green showing up here, the general thunderstorm risk. And now we have a marginal risk here within the darker green. But no, we don't have a slight risk anymore on this Day 2 outlook. And that's going to be for Tuesday into a bit of Wednesday early morning. It usually transitions around 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. There the next day. So it gets a little bit more confusing, but it lingers into the next morning each outlook. And then Day 3 here, we can see that this is going to be for Wednesday into a tiny bit of Thursday, and we have another marginal risk here. So again, general thunderstorm risks here in the lighter green, and in the darker green here we have a marginal risk. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let's get straight into our confidence tab, and no surprise here, we're at a 4 out of 6, obviously, just like always, guys. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think we're going to have a warmer later half of March or a colder later half of March? And Brandon Dunn said, I think we will have a warmer than normal conditions for the final half of March. And I do think that things are leaning in that direction at this point. Anyway, for today's Patron Highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Larry the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Kudalessa, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Colisi also. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.